You know, it's becoming clearer and clearer. I don't know if you saw this piece in Salon. Some really good reporting. It's becoming clearer by the day that Texas Governor Rick Perry killed an innocent man. 10 years ago, Texas executed Cameron Todd Willingham, who was convicted in 1992 on arson charges. The complaint was that he had set a 1991 fire in Corsicana, Texas, that killed his 3 children. But now newly uncovered evidence suggests that Willingham, who maintained his innocence until his death, was in fact an innocent man. Willingham's original conviction relied on 2 major pieces of evidence: an analysis of the fire by arson investigators and the testimony of a jailhouse informant. And in the years since Willingham was executed, the arson investigation that was the key pillar of his case has been totally discredited. Questions have been raised over the analysis done by the arson investigators and the science that was used in the case. It now looks like it was just a tragic house fire. And as for the jailhouse informant who allegedly overheard Willingham confess to the crime, new evidence suggests that that informant was offered a deal by the prosecution in return for his testimony. The judge had earlier denied cutting a deal, but now the deal's been found, and it's in the judge's own handwriting. So it's looking increasingly more like Rick Perry executed an innocent man. And not just an innocent man. A father who discovered his house on fire and was unable to save his 3 daughters, who was grieving and distraught, and was then thrown in jail and accused of intentionally burning his own house down to kill his kids, which he almost certainly didn't do. He was just a grieving father who's now been killed by Rick Perry. That's pretty grisly. But even worse, there's more and more proof that the death penalty itself does not even work to keep people from killing other people. Proponents of the death penalty say that, it's not perfect. It's a strong deterrent to murder. They're wrong. In fact, it's the other way around. According to the Death Penalty Information Center, between 1990 and 2010, 20-year block of time, the murder rate in states that didn't have the death penalty was consistently lower than the murder rate in states that do have the death penalty. According to a 2009 survey, the world's leading criminologists, 88% say that the death penalty does not lower homicide rates. Meanwhile, according to Amnesty International, more than 130 death row inmates have been released because of wrongful convictions since 1973. A guy named Seth Penalver is one of those 103. Penalver was arrested in 1994 for murdering 3 people. There was no physical evidence linking him to the murders, and the only other evidence the police had was a poor quality video that they said showed Penalver. Penalver was ultimately released in 2012 after he was acquitted of all charges. It turns out the police were wrong. He was innocent. But the state of Florida nearly killed him, and would have if newly discovered evidence hadn't led to a new trial. But frankly, we shouldn't even need facts or statistics or wrongful conviction stories to prove that the death penalty is wrong. I mean, here's the bottom line. As a society, when we kill people, we become killers ourselves. We coarsen our society. We become accustomed to murder. Albeit murder by state, it's still murder. Rick Perry is on the record saying that Cameron Todd Willingham was a monster. But it's increasingly looking like Rick Perry is the real monster. Not only has he put a likely innocent man to death, he's continuing the use of an inhumane and immoral process that doesn't even meet its own goals. We in Americans have always talked about, all the way back to Pastor, what's his name, the Pilgrim pastor, that we should be a shining city upon the hill. He actually said a city on the hill. Reagan added shining to it. But in any case, and Kennedy quoted him, not Reagan, but he quoted the Pilgrim minister whose name I can't remember. But anyhow, we can't possibly be that. We can't possibly be seen that way by the world or even by ourselves if we continue perpetrating state-operated murder. The eyes of the world are on us. We should be leading by example. And if we're going to do that, we need to get rid of the death penalty once and for all.